Hi everyone, this is Master Phone First Bond from China. Nowadays, China is a hotspot of the world, not just because COVID-19. Actually, thanks for the top White House advisor Kellyanne Conway's research. Seriously, since COVID-1 to COVID-2 to COVID-3 to COVID-4 to COVID-5 to COVID-6 to COVID-7. Please forgive me, Kellyanne. I just couldn't repeat all the details. So just a shortcut to the COVID-19. China was always the hotspot of the world for almost 20 years. So lots of people in the world really want to know more about China for economically, politically, and security reasons. But so pity, so far they couldn't find reliable sources to get the true and factual information about China. Firstly, they couldn't believe CNN, NBC, BBC, Washington Post, New York Times. Those were the mainstream news media. Because according to the respectable, credible, and honorable current USA's President Donald Trump's comment, they are all fake news. And his latest updated claiming is the NBC and the CNN are the puppet of China. The tricky thing is China simply don't buy the puppet. The Chinese authority also frequently accused the CNN, BBC of fake news. So definitely no reasons enforce people to believe those fake news. Double fake news, I mean. So on the other hand, but on the other hand, the people also don't trust China's official news agencies either. Lots of people regard most of the information from the Chinese official news agency as awkward propaganda. To be honest, based on some news agencies' past botched handling record, I couldn't say the blames are all wrong. So sad, because misunderstanding and misinformation between people is one of the most terrible things in the world. They're causing lots of argument, smear, even worse. But please don't worry too much. Fortunately, there are a silver line and a third choice left. Me. Yes, it's me. I am a civilian scholar, full of Chinese culture and knowledge of the world, and a sentiment of justice. I had studied abroad, have many foreign friends, so I do know how to be kidding with them. Look at my face carefully. You will find the credit on it. My word is my bond, and the bond is my name. Meanwhile, as a traditional Chinese guy, merit, humbling is my merit. Reluctantly, I admit my English is not so excellent. excellent, but it's good enough for me to present what I want to say to you. And I just focus on the content instead of the grammar or pronunciation. So if happenly you couldn't understand what I mean, it's not my fault, obviously. And please to learn English more is my suggestion. In my series video, I try to answer some important and maybe you are interested questions about China and present my views about some big world affairs. Okay, today I want to clear an essential question about the people how to recognize and treat China. Many Western politicians frequently use the word communist China when they are mentioning China. Is it appropriate or just childish? Now we try to settle this problem. Firstly, is today's China a communist country or a doom and gloom orthodox communist country anymore? No doubt, CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is currently ruling and ever ruling party of China. So literally, China is supposed to be a communist country. But talk the talk. Did they work the work? The definition of communism contain two main points. Firstly, a form of socialism that abolish private ownership and capitalist. The second point is a system in which goods are owned in common and available to all as needed. Sounds pretty good, right? Especially for the second one. All goods owned in common, and you just go to take it as long as you need. And the most favorite point is you don't need to pay. As a native Chinese citizen, I always a little bit doubted about it, and I never try to enter a supermarket and just take something I need it, and I go straight away with no pay. And also, I strongly recommended my foreign friends not to try it either, unless you want to make some unfriendly relationship with the Chinese policeman. So to all my credibility, I'm telling you, the free goods consumption was not working in China so far. Never try it. And then we go back to the first point, abolish private ownership and the capitalist. Sounds terrible, right? So no one allowed to own private asset in China? Before rush to the judgment, ladies and gentlemen, here I would like to release my newest research work. I found over the next few years, maybe the richest capitalist of the world would be a Chinese horse. And there are two most promising candidate horses. Jack Ma from Alibaba and Pony Ma from Tencent. Family name Ma means horse in China. So one day, the world's biggest capitalist is produced in a communist country. How ironically it is. So the only reasonable explanation is that China is not a true communist country. Actually, there are more than 10 million capitalists in China, more than any other true capitalism country. So China is definitely not a communist country, especially isn't a Soviet Union-style orthodox doomed communist country. But still, someone would like to say, yes, China maybe isn't a true capitalism country, but the ruling party is the Chinese Communist Party. So we call it Communist China. No problem. But this reason sounds strange to me, because there's no such a tradition in the world. So when the Labour Party was ruling the UK or Australia, had anyone ever called the UK or Australia the Labour UK or Labour Australia? Have anyone ever called the USA the Republic American, the Elephant American, or the Donkey America? No, because it really makes no sense. As nowadays, after decades, even more than 100 years development, just like people's family name, most of those political parties' name was eroding into a simple sign and almost lost its original idea and became meaningless. For instance, how many real Labour in the Labour Party today, and how many real donkeys in the Joe Biden's Donkey Party? And would anyone associate Jack Ma's name with a real donkey today just because Ma means horse in China? It's the same. There are few real communists in the Chinese Communist Party today. And the party itself also have abandoned most of its original Marxism doctrine and idea, and guided by more and more local pragmatic Chinese traditional culture, philosophy, and Confucianism. For instance, the Communist Party is supposed to be the Workers' Party, but actually the Labor Union did much and better job for the real works in the Donkey American than the Labor Union did in the Communist China. In China, it's not a secret. The Labor Union only acted as the workers' entertainment organizer rather than the workers' benefit protector. So, if there were a heaven for the works, it must be in the Western capitalism country instead of China. So if I was the leader of the CCP, I would like to give it a more friendly name, the Panda Party, just similar to the very famous Donkey Party and or Elephant Party. So cute, and that will change nothing to the essence and the popularity of the Chinese ruling party. So why they didn't do that? Just because they don't care. In my view, there are so many so-called political parties in the world. Actually, the common essence of the parties are the design for ruling power and the ability of ruling. And the last thing people should care about is the name of the party. So people shouldn't judge, flat, or discriminate the parties according to their names, but their achievement of leading the country. As the party's name, whatever the notorious communist or sounds more beautiful democratic republic or label are almost meaningless. So people can also call it a panda party, elephant party, or donkey party. But you shouldn't put this meaningless party's name in front of the country, because that would be misleading the people's understanding of the country. So the conclusion is, if you never called the UK, the label UK, or the label Australia, or the USA, currently ruled by the King Trump the First, the Republic America, or maybe the Joe Biden's Donkey America in 2021, or Horse Jack Ma, then you shouldn't call China the Communist China too. Got it? So still got it, and you got it, because there's no real communist China existed in the world. So see you next time. This is Master Phone First Bond. If you have any big question and confusion about China and the world, you can email me. This is a Bond, the third channel. See you.